Hello, greetings, and welcome to the show Crime Tech. Imagine a country surrounded by the sea, a place where people live by the shore, a land surrounded by the vast expanse of the sea, where people's lives were intimately tied to the shoreline. A mystery of chilling proportions unfolded. It was a place of serene beauty, where the waves whispered secrets and the tides held untold stories. This was Japan, an island nation in East Asia, known for its rich culture and traditions. But in recent years, it had also become known for something far more sinister, the phenomenon of the ghost boats. These ghostly vessels would arrive unannounced, crashing violently into the shores of Japan. To the dismay of those who rushed to investigate, they were invariably empty. No living soul was ever found on board. Instead, the boats carried haunting remnants of life-human skulls, hands, and feet. The sight of these eerie ships, appearing without warning and carrying only grim reminders of humanity, struck fear and dread into the hearts of the locals. The strange part was that this was no isolated incident. It happened repeatedly, like a relentless cycle, every third or fourth day, month after month, and year after year. The empty boats would get caught in the relentless sea waves, carried by a relentless current, until they ultimately found their way to the shore. Each time, people would approach, their hearts pounding, hoping to find survivors, but their hopes were always dashed, replaced by the grim discovery of human remains. These enigmatic vessels became known as ghost boats, and their presence haunted the northern shores of Japan. The Japanese government, desperate to unravel this unsettling mystery, poured significant resources into the investigation. Yet, despite their efforts, the mystery persisted, and the money seemed wasted as the haunting vessels continued to arrive, devoid of living humans. As the days turned into years, questions multiplied. Where did these ghost boats come from? How had they traveled such vast distances? North Korea lay to the west, Russia to the north, and South Korea to the southwest, and the north coast of Japan connected them all. It was here, around the year 2000, that the peculiar series of events had begun. Like clockwork, every second or fourth day, small ships would wash ashore on the northern coast of Japan. Concerned locals would rush to the scene, expecting to find survivors, but their optimism would quickly fade as they gazed upon the lifeless bodies. These were not your typical spectral vessels. These were real, abandoned boats, carrying stone-like corpses that appeared ancient in their eerie stillness. The question that lingered in the air was whether these were time travelers, lost souls, adrift in the vast ocean of time, or simply unfortunate victims of the merciless sea. The Japanese administration found itself trapped in a puzzle with no clear solution. These ghost boats, devoid of life, kept washing up on the shores, stirring a potent cocktail of fear and intrigue. Many theories circulated among the locals. Some believed these were truly ships of ghosts, haunting the seas in an otherworldly manner. Others, however, remained skeptical. The government suggested a more rational explanation, that these were lost fishermen who had strayed too far from their home shores, their fates sealed by the unpredictable sea. With time, the mystery deepened as the numbers grew. In 2011, 57 ghost boats arrived. The next year, 47, and by 2013, a staggering 80 boats had washed ashore, all carrying lifeless bodies. With over 1,000 of these eerie vessels hitting the coast, fear swelled among the local populace. Investigations into these ghost boats revealed peculiar commonalities. All the ships bore a distinct coat of red paint, an enigmatic mark that read Korean People's Army in an unfamiliar language. To decipher this text, a language expert was summoned, and the shocking revelation sent shivers down the spines of those involved. It was Korean. The origin of these mysterious boats had been unveiled, but it raised an even more perplexing question. How had these small vessels, likely used for fishing or small-scale travel, traversed a staggering 1,000 kilometers of treacherous sea from North Korea to Japan's North Korea? Could anyone have survived such a perilous journey? The ghost boats, with their macabre cargo and enigmatic origins, continue to appear on the coastline, empty of human life. The sight of these vessels, like apparitions from the sea, cast a shadow of fear over the Japanese people. The government responded by ramping up security on the north coast, but this came at a significant cost, adding to the growing concerns of the administration. Upon discovering these ghost ships, the authorities would take the lifeless bodies for post-mortem examinations, and then they would be kept for further investigation or given a proper funeral. Each step in this process contributed to the mounting expenses incurred by the government. The ghostly secrets of Japan's seas remained unresolved, continuing to instill both fear and fascination. The mystery of these ghost ships, believed to hail from North Korea, had been washing up on Japan's coast since as far back as 1975, and their enigmatic history was filled with intrigue, mystery, and geopolitical dynamics that continued to captivate those who dared to delve into their secret. These vessels, initially mistaken for spectral apparitions, were eventually revealed to have a far more sinister purpose. They were not just vessels of a certain color. They held deeper, more ominous significance. The red hue, often associated with danger, was seen as a symbol of the perilous journey that these vessels and their passengers had undertaken. It also signified the audacious nature of their mission, a mission that had begun between 1977 and 1983. During these years, these ghost boats had transported 17 individuals who had been kidnapped by North Korea. The sinister purpose behind this operation was to train North Korean spies in the ways of Japan, to teach them the Japanese language, culture, and lifestyle. They were to use the documents and identities of their victims to infiltrate Japanese society, all while gathering vital information about the country. The choice of the color red was seen as a bold and audacious statement by North Korea, which was then under the rule of Kim Jong-il's father, Kim Il-sung. In a shocking revelation in 2002, North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-il, admitted to the kidnapping of these 17 Japanese citizens. This admission prompted an extensive investigation into how these individuals had ended up in North Korean hands. But the plot thickened even further with the involvement of an unlikely character, the flying squid. This creature, native to the Pacific Ocean, played an unexpected role in North Korea's covert operations. The demand for this particular squid in China had led to overfishing, causing fish production to plummet by a staggering 70%. China, North Korea, and Japan all fished in their respective areas. But as fish numbers dwindled and demand surged, China crossed its maritime boundaries. Chinese fishing vessels ventured into North Korean waters, sparking a complex web of international tensions. The exact nature of the arrangement between China and North Korea remained shrouded in mystery. Some believed North Korea allowed it, while others suspected that North Korea was paid by China for access to its waters. This tale of fish, demand, and international waters exemplified the intricate dynamics of resource exploitation in the region. North Korean fishermen found themselves facing a dilemma. Their usual fishing grounds had been overrun by Chinese ships, leaving them with dwindling catches. Frustrated and desperate to make a living, they made a perilous choice. They ventured further out to sea. Their small boats, ill-equipped for such treacherous journeys, braved the unforgiving sea, navigating through storms and surging waves. It was a desperate attempt to survive, and it came at a harrowing cost. For every 50 boats that set sail, perhaps only 48 would return. Some days, one would disappear, other days 3. These missing fishermen would become the specters of the sea, their empty boats drifting aimlessly, bearing eerie witness to their struggle. Year after year, between 50 to 70 of these ghost boats would arrive on the shores of Japan. But the question remained, where were they coming from? The first clue came in the form of a red serial record from the People's Republic Army. Other evidence pointed squarely at North Korea. In 2017, 2 organizations took up the case: the United Nations Joint Defense Council and an international journalist duo. These intrepid investigators delved deep into the heart of the mystery, uncovering shocking revelations. It turned out that North Korea's small and impoverished fishermen were getting lost at sea, their lives in vessels claimed by the relentless waves. The culprits? Large ships and flying skis. These fishermen were losing their lives, their boats drifting inexorably toward Japan, where they would eventually wash ashore. A tragic end to a mysterious tale. The fear of the ghost boats that had once gripped the Japanese people gradually gave way to a sobering realization. These were not apparitions or spectral vessels. They were vessels of desperation, carrying men who had been forced to venture farther into the perilous sea in search of sustenance and livelihood. Chinese fishing vessels had encroached upon their traditional fishing grounds, robbing them of their catches. The North Korean fishermen had little choice but to risk it all, and the result was an average loss of 50 to 60 boats annually for nearly 4 decades. The toll was staggering, as each boat carried 2 to 4 fishermen. These brave souls had become victims of circumstance, their lives sacrificed in a desperate struggle for survival. The revelation that the ghost boats were not the work of the supernatural, but rather a testament to human desperation, brought a sense of closure to the coastal residents of Japan. No longer did they fear these eerie vessels instead. They saw them as a haunting reminder of the sacrifices made by their fellow human beings who had wandered in search of food and water, only to lose their lives in the relentless embrace of the sea. As the mystery unfolded, one individual story stood out, a seemingly ordinary fisherman named Tadaki Hara. By day, he led the life of a humble fisherman, blending seamlessly into the coastal communities. However unknown to many, he harbored a secret identity. Tadaki Hara was not just a fisherman, he was a spy. His cover, a well-constructed facade, allowed him to operate in plain sight. His tool of espionage, the very ghost boats that had baffled and terrified the Japanese people. These empty vessels, found on the Japanese coast, were the key to his covert operations. North Korea had initially denied any knowledge of the fishermen's disappearances. But the truth was far different, they knew, and they had chosen to remain silent. When confronted with undeniable evidence by Japan, North Korea finally admitted to the truth. The ghost boats and the missing fishermen were their own. Tadaki Hara, the seemingly ordinary fisherman, was in reality a spy who had masterfully used these ghostly vessels for his covert operation. So, the next time you see an empty boat on the shore, remember Tadaki Hara, a fisherman by day, a spy by night. The sea, it seems, hides many stories, and the tale of the missing fishermen is one of struggle, desperation, and the impact on their families. These families have long pleaded with the North Korean government for answers, their desperate search for their loved ones continuing in the face of uncertainty. In the end, North Korea finally admitted that the so-called ghost boats were not spectral apparitions. They were vessels of fishermen, forced by circumstances beyond their control to venture further and further into the unforgiving sea in search of sustenance. Chinese overfishing and international tensions had driven these men to their fates, resulting in an average loss of 50 to 60 boats each year for nearly 4 decades. The fear of the ghost boats was replaced by a sense of empathy and understanding. They were not ghosts, but fellow human beings, struggling to make a living in the face of adversity. The sea, once a source of mystery and fear, now held a sobering truth, a reminder that even in the most enigmatic of stories, there lay the humanity of those who had sought their fortune and paid the ultimate price on its relentless waves.